Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 171. Aaron, first and foremost, I want to reach out to the folks that are in chat and been tuning in. And, we know that you have other options out there and available to get your Sharks talk through. So we're just glad that you guys are here with us. And again, we want to say we do appreciate you stopping in. So, Aaron, we had some games this week, and gosh, it seems to be exactly what we've been preaching, buddy. More of the same, right? These close games, these entertaining games, but we're still picking up losses.
Yeah, and I'm happy because I want the Sharks to get a good pick for next season. But it is very frustrating to watch because it looks like they're going to win the game and they're playing well the entire time, and they just can't put a 60-minute performance together. They can only put 58 minutes together, and you know which game I'm talking about.
It is a strange feeling to be frustrated that your team is losing, but also kind of relieved that they're losing. It's like this weird mix of emotion, this roller coaster ride this season has been so far. Jumping straight into the Detroit game here, they never led this game. This is a game that they were they lost 3-2 in overtime. Of course, picking up a point in the loss. This is what we don't want them to do, but is the case. So they scored with less than 10 seconds left in the second to tie the game up 2 apiece. I guess the point here when I say that they never led the game wasn't so much that, oh, look how bad they were, but it was that they kind of never gave up. And again, that's kind of been the identity of this team. Hardworking. It's exactly what Mike Grier wants out of these guys. The types of guys are going to go in there and never give up, grind away, the Nico Sturms of the league. And that's what they're looking for out of these guys. And kind of that's what they're getting. We'll see some interesting stats later on about how close a lot of these games have been. But this was just one of those games. Detroit, they win 3-2 in overtime. I don't know, Aaron, what did you see out of this game? It seemed like one of those games, again, like the Sharks were in it the whole time and just couldn't bury it.
That's about right. Just they hang in there, they come back, and when your hopes get up, they get dashed quickly because they scored less than a minute in overtime to lose the game. So at least it's a quick death and not that's what they call sudden death, right? A sudden death, 25 seconds in. Yeah, it's just disappointing. The Sharks never seem to do well in Detroit historically over the years. So I guess I wasn't surprised, but this is the one of those 3 games last week that I thought was more winnable than the others, I should say.
Interesting how the rest of the week will play out. Before we get there, Noah Claxton says, watching Monday's Fin Factor streams take the misery out of Mondays. Awesome. Well, I'm glad we could do that for you, Noah. By the way, if you guys would like to share that sentiment with your Sharks friends and family and help them not feel having a case of the Mondays, please go ahead, hit that share button, hit that retweet, get us out there to them. If you're enjoying the show, I'm sure they'll like it just as much. Get them in here so we can do all the chats with them as well. Certainly love doing that with you guys. There's another, where is it? Finding ways to win Bedard against the Canes right there. Ben and Gunsbury. Yes. In fact, let's just move straight on to that game. Aaron, Carolina, a 5-4 overtime loss. Again, this was one where I thought it was going to be kind of a duel between Burns and Carlson. I was kind of happy with how the game was going for a while there. And the funny thing is, before the game even started, it was interesting that Brent Burns was actually going to make dinner for the boys, right? And it would have included Nieto, but Nieto got traded before this game occurred. We'll talk a little bit about the trade as well. But it just kind of sucks that somebody brought that up. Like, oh, yeah, Burns was taking care of his former teammates, but one of them got traded before he got a chance. What was it? The Axis deer was the big thing a couple years ago with Burnsy?
Yeah, he harvests or hunts. I don't know why they don't say hunt. He has his own property in Texas, and he hunts and then prepares the meat and pretty much uses 1 or 2 of them for the entire year. And we'll bring them out. When he was on the Sharks, he used to bring them out all the time and cook and everything, barbecue with the guys. And this is one of the reasons why Brent Burns is, how old is he now? 37, 38 years old, and he's extremely healthy. One of the best athletes, I think, in the NHL, one of the guys who takes care of their bodies. And this is why longevity is a thing, and he's going to be playing out that contract. But yeah, he I don't know what he prepared. Do you know what the actual dinner was that he made?
I wish I could say I was there to tell you exactly what it was.
I don't know if they reported on it.
Why we have the Luke Cunning garbage collector saliva, I don't know, but I'm guessing it was better than the garbage. But yeah, no, I mean, Burnsie. Burnsy's gonna have just a whole, meat lovers platter, I'm sure. So I'm amazing. Would have been there. It would have been amazing to be there for that one. But oh well, I'm not a part of that family. Anyway, back to the game at least. The Sharks were up 4-2 with less than 2 minutes to go in the game. And they somehow managed, Aaron. They somehow managed to lose this one. Just incredible stuff. Now, the unfortunate thing is this has happened before, and we'll get a graphic that shows us. But I think before we get to the graphic, why don't we show this clip, the post-game interview, a very frustrated David Quinn talking about this loss.
We just stunk. We stunk on the power play. We stunk on the penalty kill. We stunk 5-on-5. Our forward stunk. Our defenseman stunk. We just stunk.
See, it's not true, though. It's not true. They played a great game. That unfortunately we don't have a video clip. We only had audio, and I didn't want to pull it, but they played very well. And he said he was very sad and felt very bad for the boys because they really played well against a Carolina team that is tops in the league. I mean, what are they, second only behind Boston in the league, and they took it to them in Carolina nonetheless and almost came away with a full 2 points. So it really sucks. It's really hard. And you mentioned this happened before. I was talking to Paul before this. This happened when I think it was the season after the Sharks had gone to the conference finals, or maybe the one after that. They were playing in Washington, and it was like a turning point for the season where everyone was like, oh, wow, the Sharks do stink. They're not as good as what everyone thought they were going to be. And it's too bad we don't have that quote from that when that happened. But same thing happened in Washington. I think they scored an empty net goal, and then Washington came back and tied it and won it in overtime, and it was just embarrassing. And it happened again in Washington. Wasn't at home. But here's the graphic right here. This is from ESPN Stats. I'll read it to you. San Jose Sharks scored an empty net goal to go up 4-2 with 1:52 left tonight and lost. They're only the third team to score an empty net goal in the last 2 minutes of regulation and lose the game. The others was the 2019-20 Sharks and the 1969-70 Red Wings. However, I'm pretty sure the Red Wings team was not in overtime because they didn't have overtime back then, if I am not mistaken.
We just stunk.
I don't think they introduced that until the early 80s. So it sucks. It's just like you watch it, it's like a train wreck. Like, what is going to go wrong? How could
everything?
How? I mean, the goal that got them within a goal after they scored the empty net, they scored pretty quickly after it. Completely breakdown in coverage. Like, nobody was playing defense. They're just like, we're coasting. It was unreal. Like, I want to say it was Carlson in the back by himself, 2-on-1, and he just gets burned and turned around, and Reimer gets hung out to dry. I mean, it was so bad. It was like comically bad. Then it was like, oh, now it's like the empty net goal never happened. Now they have to play it all over again, and they were just on their heels at that point.
Yeah, one for the garbage can. Maybe that's why we have the Luke Cunning trash slide. This one belongs in the trash. I don't know. Zach Croft says Sharks really know how to make history, but in the wrong way. Yeah. Like you said, 2 of the 3 times that it's happened, Sharks, albeit the worst of them, like you said, there was no overtime. So they must have lost it pretty bad there. Oh, well. I think another thing that Zach Croft said, and I do want to actually, I want to bring this up first, and then I'll go back to Noah Claxton here. Zach says it's time for the Fin Factor to get a phone line to let listeners call in and be part of the show. Zach, something we actually had thought about before. The only problem is we're a family-friendly show, and not all shows that cover the Sharks are, and we try to be. So we don't know what you guys are going to say. So we kind of don't want to go that route.
Well, if we did it, it wouldn't be a live show. How about that?
Yeah, if we did, it would have to be recorded. We can fix things that we need to fix. However, a good idea, one that we've thought over, and
I cannot lie, it was, a lot less,
well, I was saying bad words, but maybe you will have Turtle on and he'll just blah, 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 blah. So who knows? I don't know. Noah Claxton, however, has a question here about the Timo trade. Noah, hang on to that. We're going to be going into that Timo trade a little bit later on in the show. So, and actually kind of what you're saying here exactly, that it's kind of setting the trades, showing what the player is going to be going for, right? It kind of sets the tone for what the other trades are going to be going for. So hold on to that question. We'll get there in a bit. For right now, let's go ahead and jump over to the Pittsburgh game. Aaron, this was the one game I thought for sure the Sharks were going to lose. And it was the one game that the Sharks ended up winning. Go figure.
Yeah, I thought, to me, this was a game that Pittsburgh gave away. The Sharks are now more of a hardworking team than a more skilled team than the other team. So they're going to force mistakes and capitalize on them. And I feel like that's exactly what the Sharks did in this game. I thought, was it Casey DeSmith was in goal, and he was garbage. He was really bad. He was bad. Their defense kind of let him hang out to dry. The Sharks just really looked hungrier in a way. So kudos to them. They got themselves in the exact situation, 24 hours later in another city, where they are fighting for their lives, up a goal with the other team pulling their goalie. And this time Logan Couture gets the puck at the half line, basically at center, gets past the line and shoots it and scores to bury it. Also giving him his 5th point of the night, which is a career night for him. I thought he played very well. He's such a competitor, and I'm happy to have him on the team still. I know a lot of people kind of like want him to be gone as well, but I think he's a good captain, and he leads by example, and a 5-point night for him is fantastic. 2 goals and 3 assists. So you could see everyone was very happy for him too when he scored that goal and got that 5th point. It was pretty cool. And there's somebody else who scored in the game. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, no, he's a very forgettable player. If only I could remember what his name is. Aaron, do you know?
Schmoa. Gregor.
No.
Noah Gregor gets his 3rd goal of the season.
How many?
3rd.
Wow. We're just over about halfway through the season, right?
He's on fire, man. He's getting more ice time.
Just over halfway. Okay.
You just wait.
Trying to do the math on that. If half the games are gone, he's got 3. Then on average, the other half of the season, if you got another 3. Aaron, what's 3 plus 3 again?
Doesn't quite work that way.
Not 10. That's what it is. Not 10.
You got to go by games played. 3 goals in 26
No, I don't
games.
have to go by games played. Who's saying he's not going to get scratched the same amount of games? Come on.
Me, because they're trading away guys.
Right there. Gregor will be traded. I don't know that he'll be traded, but I mean, maybe he's on pace for change of scenery could be good for the guy.
He's on pace for 9.46 goals.
Not 10. You can't even round that up. 9.46. You can't round it up.
So close. At this point,
God,
I think Noah's just messing with me.
You have no idea how much I love this. I'm telling you, this is great.
Oh dear.
By the way, we still need to do the pie in the face for you, buddy.
We do.
Nick HBK has been asking for that for a long time.
I know he has.
He has. All the way back since last season. Drew says Pittsburgh needs to trade for Reimer. That could be interesting. What do you think?
I guess. I mean, DeSmith was so bad he made Reimer look good. So yeah.
Hey, Reimer is good. Knock it off. Sharks pick up 4 of a possible 6 points somehow while losing 2 of the 3 games.
That's kind of weird, right?
Losing in overtime.
That's weird.
We just stunk.
Not unreal.
It didn't stink enough.
Apparently not. I think if this was a winning team, I'd be happy with that stat. But
if this is a winning team, you'd be like, okay, it wasn't that bad of a road trip, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 4 out of 6 points. You
limped into the All-Star break.
Sounds great. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That now sits them in 5th place points percentage wise.
Now you've got some interesting stats here. You're saying the league leading the league with a certain amount down by a goal. Why don't you kind of go through these stats here? Let the people know what you were talking about.
Sure. We alluded to this last week about, I was like, I feel like the Sharks have been leading a lot in the games. Like they're scoring first a lot and then end up losing the game. They're usually winning, like the games that they're supposed to be winning, they're losing. So I wanted to look it up. So I looked up ice time of when they were winning by a goal, and it's 520 minutes and 15 seconds. They're leading the game by a goal, at least a goal. That puts them in 22nd out of 32, which isn't, they're not leading the league, but they're not at the bottom either. And then what they are leading the league is leading by being down by only one goal, not more than one goal, down by one goal. So they lose it a lot. And that's 695 minutes they've been playing down by one goal. So it's very close games. They're all very close. And some other stats here. How do the Sharks do when they pull their goalie? I mean, you're looking at the stats. The Sharks are, they have 2 goals for and 12 empty net goals against. 12. It's abysmal.
Yeah.
Why are they even pulling their goalie? They probably have a better chance of staying 5-on-5 at this point. Now, Sharks against an empty net. How many times do they stop the other team from tying the game up? 10 goals for. So they've scored 10, and we've seen what happened when they score when it doesn't matter. 6 goals against. 6! That's 6 games that they should have closed out. That's 12 more points in the standings. Right? Or I guess maybe 6 more points in the standings because they went to overtime.
Right.
But that's 6 points other teams are picking up and that they are not getting. It's just it's bad. It's minute details that add up to where they are now. It's the little things. What's the Blink-182 song? All the small things.
All the small things, yeah.
They should be singing that, not Colorado.
Man, I made myself old last time with some reference, and then you bring out Blink-182 with that one, huh? Holy smokes!
They're back on tour.
It's just really interesting the stats that you had here, whether they're up by a goal or down by a goal. We're only talking about a single goal. Like again, these games it's exactly what we were talking about. They're going to be more entertaining. They're going to be closer, but they're just not going to be able to get over the hump. And I mean, that's what we've been seeing so far pretty much the whole season. Now, there are times where the Sharks are really, really bad and they get, wrecked. But for the most part, even in the game that they lost 5-4, as abysmal as that was to be up 4-2 with 2 minutes left, the fact is, I mean, spread that out over the rest of the game. Sure, then if that makes it feel better. But the fact is, they were kind of right there with them the entire way through, right? It's not like they were getting blown away. So it just sucks that last couple minutes they just kind of fell apart and crumbled. But this team has been kind of in it in so many of these games. It kind of makes you wonder just how far off really were we? If we had one other piece here or there, would it have made a big difference? I don't know. I mean, it seems like if we're so close in a lot of these games that maybe we were just missing one little piece, which seems odd because we're so far down the standings. I don't know. What do you think about that, Aaron? Do you think that this team, as bad as our record is, but as close as all the games have been, could we have been something a little better with just a piece here or there?
Problem with this team is the talent is so thin. There's no depth, that it's so thin that one injury derails the whole season. Even if they're all firing on all cylinders, everyone's playing well, they're super tight. You can't play 82 games like that. Someone's going to get hurt. The way that they're playing, someone's going to get hurt and miss some time, and it's just going to happen. I mean, at the time, the beginning of the season, we thought, most likely it's Carlson. He's been missing 20, 30 games a season, and knock on wood, he hasn't now, but not that it really matters because the Sharks are so far down the standings. There's not an easy fix. This team is not an easy, quick, we need to add one guy. Even if they get Bedard next year, they're not going to be a playoff team, I don't think. I don't think that's going to project them. They would need to do some more stuff. They need to get some more depth. They need, just to add more pieces. It's not just one piece. It's several pieces. And I think the goaltending needs to be better. I think they need to have, obviously everyone's going to want Vasilevsky or someone that's going to play the 60 games, but there's only 2 or 3 of those in the league. You're not going to get one of those. You just need more solid, dependable goaltending. You need better defense, better defensive defensemen that are going to clear out in front of the net. I don't know. I'm a little more old school like that, but just little things that add up over time, and depth. You need depth. You don't have it. And the scoring is also another thing, but that's not the only thing.
Taylor Kearney says, I think the Sharks are going to remain fairly quiet this deadline, maybe one more minor deal. I completely disagree with that. I think we're looking at a Timo trade. I think we're looking at, there's a lot of them that they have no move clauses, but they might want to move. I think Couture comes to mind. I think Carlson comes to mind. There's a handful of guys I think that are bigger names on the Sharks roster that wouldn't mind getting out of the situation and giving themselves an opportunity, especially the guys that are getting a little bit longer in the tooth. Aaron, how do you see this? Do you think that they're going to remain quiet, or do you think there's something big on the horizon here?
It's hard to say. I think after reading everything this week, I really think Timo is going to be gone. I don't think he's staying. I don't think he's signing. His agent, Claude Lemieux, I think he said $9 million is where they're looking to start for an extension. I don't know if the Sharks are going to do it. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I don't know if Greer wants to do that. It changes things. If Meier's gone, that changes things. But it also depends on what the return is. And might as well just talk about it now. Like we were talking about earlier, a bunch of questions in here about the return because of the trade today with Bo Horvat out of Vancouver going to the New York Islanders. Basically, Horvat got traded to the Islanders for a first-round pick that is protected in case because the Islanders are not in a playoff spot right now. It would slide to next year, but not be protected next year. That's a big deal. A guy who was drafted in 2021 in the second round, so essentially a second-round pick prospect. That's a higher prospect. He's decent. He's not going to be a stud. And then also another guy who is only 25, 26 years old, but he's been in the league for 7 years. And he is kind of a guy that needs a new change of scenery. Should be better than he is. But then again, New York Islanders are the lowest scoring team in the league. So it's hard to say if he's gonna pan out. But Bo Horvat is a unrestricted free agent after the season. So that's a rental player's return. Mm-hmm. Timo Meier is an RFA, so they would control his rights after his contract is up. They would have to sign him to a $10 million salary because that's what he makes to retain his rights. I'm talking about Meier.
Right. They only have to do that if they don't come to terms on another deal. Correct. If they want to retain his rights as an RFA, then they have to pay the $10 million, right, for 1 year.
Sorry.
Otherwise, they just make a deal.
Right. So, but my point is you have a little bit more control over it than you would with a UFA, where there's a hard deadline of it's usually July 1st. To me, that means that sets kind of the precedent for what the return would be for Timo. And I think it would be more than that. I would hope it'd be more than that. I would want to see more of first round pick. Obviously, that's a given. Maybe a prospect that was picked in the first round instead of the second round. And a little bit younger of a guy that needs maybe another prospect that's not as high end, Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to say what the good return would be. It's also depending on what team he's going to. If it's a team that's on the high end and they give a first round pick, that's such a late first round pick that it's not going to be, franchise changing or anything. It'll be good, but it's not like a Bedard coming back, people shouldn't get too excited about it.
Right.
I should say.
I'm going to ask for a 30-second answer out of you. Zach Croft wants to know who's the best of the worst in your opinion, Gregor or LeBanc, and who would you trade? Aaron, lightning round, fire away.
I trade LeBanc. Salary purposes.
I have to agree. I would trade LeBanc for salary purposes. I would keep Noah Gregor because that seems to be the type of guy that GM Mike Greer is more in line with than LeBanc, quite frankly. I think Gregor is more the type of player that he's looking for. So there's my slightly longer answer.
I feel like Noah Gregor's a little bit more defensive sound too than LeBanc. He plays a better 200-foot game than LeBanc does.
I'm probably a little more. No, it's not fair to say that.
What?
We're going to go and move on to, there's a lot of stuff here about prospects and stuff. and the trades. And we're going to get to that. There's a question actually about Merkley and Nieto. We'll get to that in just a second. We do want to remind you guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can go ahead and do that. It was right there through Venmo at the Fin Factor, or if you'd like to use the super chat function, you can go ahead and do that as well. Anything you guys type in there, we'll go ahead and bring it up on the show. So if you got a comment or a question, you want to make sure it gets heard, that's the way you can do it. And again, it does support the show. Also, you can do that on thefinfactor.com. Check it out. We got hats, shirts, canteen water bottle things, fanny pack, sweatshirts. I said it wrong again, didn't I? Is it water bottles? It's water
just
bottles.
A water bottle, man.
It's a water bottle. I don't know why I have such a hard time with that every single time.
We just stunk.
Well, it's just that's how it is. Okay, so I appreciate you guys doing that, supporting the show that way. Always appreciate it. Also, by the way, we're a little bit light in the comments today. No, actually, not the comments, but just the viewership. If you can get us out there one more time, hit us with that retweet, hit us with that share. Would absolutely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Also, the folks on the podcast, feel free to hit us with a comment or something. Do you guys exist? We see the views or the listens. Do you call them listens on podcasts? They're not views, right?
Yeah.
The listens.
Right.
Get on with it.
Yes. Okay. So Erik Karlsson this week, Aaron, he did a thing a few times actually.
It's our time. It's our time for alternate captain Erik Karlsson.
It is. So go ahead, super producer Jason, take it away.
Walk up like scallywag.
Scallywag. So the thing is, we don't know what is going to come out of his mouth. Like super producer Jason has all the control over this, so we're just saying this for the first time too. Aaron, 3 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, +4, 5 shots on goal. What else do you want from this guy? I mean, really, is he? I mean, he's obviously the best player of the Strikes. He's going to the All-Star game. So, I mean, is there anything else you want from this guy?
Is there anything else he can do?
He's better defense, maybe? I don't know, but
he's putting the team on his back. There's nobody better than him in the league doing it as a defenseman. He now has an 11-point lead over Rasmus Dahlin for the lead. 11 points. He is at 66 points. If he just stopped scoring, let's just say he got hurt, right? He's probably still in the top 10 by the end of the season. You
can't say that. You can't say if he gets hurt, Aaron.
I'm just saying, like that's how good of a season he's having. It's insane.
I swear to God, if he gets hurt over this All-Star break, I'm coming after you.
Whatever.
Anyway. Whoa, Taylor Kearney coming in with a $10 super chat. Taylor, thank you so much. Appreciate you supporting the show. No comment, though. Nothing you want to say?
I'm sure
we'll give him a minute here. We'll give him a minute to type something in there, maybe. But, hey, Taylor, again, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. It goes a long way. As you know, my kids dropped the laptop, so the USB doesn't work. So that'll definitely go a long way to help me out there. Taylor says, okay, pin this comment for reference when Timo doesn't get dealt.
All right.
Okay.
Let's close out Karlsson.
All right, let's close out Karlsson. Here we go.
Way anchor.
What? Oh, man. I'm so glad we spent money on that. Okay, Alexander Barabanov on pace for 55 points. He was traded from Toronto to the Sharks for Antti Suomela. Now, I will hear no bad things about Antti Suomela. Okay, he signed my son's shirt, and it's one of his favorite players from when he was on the Barracuda. And then he very briefly played for them and got traded. But good dude. However, I think it's safe to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's safe to say Sharks won this trade.
I think so. I think, I mean, Suomela never made the Maple Leafs. He didn't play one game for the Maple Leafs. He was stuck in the Marlies, and this year signed in the SHL, which is the Swedish Hockey League. So he is no longer even in the NHL. They are the same age, so it's not like Barabanov is a lot younger or older, or vice versa. So Barabanov is putting together quite the season. He's on pace for 55 points, which is amazing. Amazing for a guy that was traded for nothing, like absolutely nothing. Suomela just couldn't quite put it together. He was supposed to be the promising third line center answer for the Sharks back when he first made training camp years ago. Barabanov on a good team, I don't think he would be in the top 6, but here we are, and he's on pace for 55 points. This is probably the most he would do. I can't imagine him getting a better season than this season. I don't think he's going to get better. So this is pretty much the peak for Barabanov. I wouldn't expect more from him. On a good team, he would have more of a third line role, I would think. And he wouldn't even come close to that. So for him, it's good success for him personally for his career. But he's making the Sharks better. And I think he looks good. He looks dangerous almost every night. And I think he's getting better. I think he looks more dangerous, and he's also more defensive sound than he has been in the past. So I think he is a guy that is giving what David Quinn asked 10% more from everybody, right? In the beginning of the season. And he's definitely one of them.
Not quite the same level of offensive production as Barabanov, but certainly similar in that, as a guy that we picked up essentially for nothing. Winnipeg puts Mikey Eyssimont on waivers. Really, the reason they did this was because they were just forced to do it. They had a bunch of players coming off of IR. They needed to make room. So Mikey Eyssimont goes on waivers. Sharks pick him up. Again, nothing that we had to give up to get this guy. And gosh, he's playing exactly the way that Mike Grier wants. I mean, he's one of those hard-nosed guys, keeps the feet moving, heavy on the puck, forecheck, back check, paycheck, that kind of player, right? So this is the type of guy that is exactly what Mike Grier wants. And I think he's been pretty happy with him so far. Aaron, we've heard his name quite a bit from the announcers and whatnot, talking about him. He's kind of showing up and turning some heads. What do you think about him so far? Is he the type of guy that maybe is going to stick around?
This is one of Mike Grier's guys. I have a feeling Mike Grier on his staff, he's definitely expanded his staff beyond what Doug Wilson had. So there's more guys scouting NHL players, current NHL/AHL, basically players exactly like Eyssimont that are going to possibly hit waivers at some point. And when they do, they're going to pull the trigger because they already know they like this guy's game. They would love him in the system. The Sharks are slowly changing both the players at the AHL and NHL level, kind of getting out with the old, like some of the guys that they just don't like. They pretty much reevaluated everybody in the system, top to bottom, and said yes or no. And then slowly are going to change them out. They can't do it all at once. It's not going to be a one season wipe everyone out and do it all over again. So it's a slow process. And right now, I mean, look at the trade that we're going to be talking about, right? Where they got 2 more guys that are AHL level guys that are coming in. That's more guys coming into the system that are Mike Grier's guys. And when I say that, I'm quoting actually Mike Grier from his press conference when he was announced as the GM. He was talking about he wants his own guys in there, guys that are basically played like Mike Grier, hardworking guys, hard-nosed, hardworking, back check, forecheck, paycheck kind of guys. And this is exactly the checks every box for Mikey Eyssimont. So I'm sure Mike Grier is just going, yeah, every time he gets any kind of points, does anything in the game, he impacts the game, not even just on the scoreboard, just happens to be this week, but we're not going to see him be on the scoreboard every week.
Speaks volumes to me that he's actually on the power play as well.
Well, he's working hard, right?
Yeah.
He's getting those pucks. He's getting those dirty areas and does all the good things that you want, gets in front of the net, blocks the goalie's eyes, and things happen. Things are happening. He'll be on the power play until things don't happen.
Noah Claxton knows me way too well. Paul wants multiple firsts for Benning and Sumela if he was still here. So what's wrong with
multiple
that?
Firsts for each signature.
Absolutely. It's first for the signature and 2 more firsts for each stick that Benning gave the kids. By the way, Matt Benning, great human being, all things aside, all jokes aside, just a great human being. Anyway, regardless. So we had a trade, right? And Aaron, I kind of feel like I did this the wrong way. I in the notes, I wrote down Merkley traded along with Nieto, and that's not fair. Okay, that's not fair. Nieto traded along with Merkley should be the right way to phrase that. So I apologize to Matt Nieto, who didn't see these notes and isn't listening to this anyway, but I apologize, Matt Nieto. So Yeah, they go to Colorado again. Nieto getting another stint with them now. Nieto was drafted by the Sharks, traded to Colorado, picked up by the Sharks, and then traded to Colorado. Right? He's played for 2 teams and he's bounced back and forth twice. So I think I tweeted out like, "Hey, just don't bother selling your house. You're gonna be back here anyways. It doesn't really matter." But hey, you know what? Good for him as another hardworking guy. For me, it's kind of one of those guys that Greer probably likes. But obviously, it makes sense. Get an asset back, move him, give him an opportunity with the team that he used to play with, and because they're going to go a long way. And, again, it's a guy that, for them is a good penalty killer and he's fast and everything else that they want. So it works out really well for them. Again, Merkley, a part of this trade, to be fair. So Merkley, of course, wanted out of San Jose. He told the GM that he wants out. He feels like he's, I guess, an NHL caliber player, and he's just being held back here in San Jose, which frankly, when you have Erik Karlsson as the offensive defenseman in front of you and playing with Karlsson and Burns together didn't work out, I don't think that you're going to get that opportunity. So maybe this is the best thing to happen for him. However, he's also going to be playing behind Cale Makar. So I don't know if this is really the best for Merkley anyway, but regardless, we pick up Jacob McDonald and Martin. I'm going to screw up his name, but I think it's Caught. Am I wrong? You don't know. We don't know. No, Martin. We'll just call him Martin for now. Martin was a 16th overall pick in the 2018 draft by the Colorado Avalanche. He's got 1 goal and 3 points in 27 games played this season. So he's not really breaking any records or anything, but the guy's maybe he's still developing. Again, his 2018 draft pick, but he was 16th overall.
This is the same draft, same first round, same draft as Merkley. So they essentially swapped guys that just aren't putting it together with their respective clubs. To me, Merkley wanted to get traded. I don't think he even thinks he's a top forward, or defenseman. But being in the top 4, I think, is more realistic for Merkley's kind of peak for his trajectory. So I think that's what he's thinking. However, what the Sharks were kind of not happy with was his progression in the, 200-foot game that we always talk about with forwards. The effort wasn't there. The offense was fine. There's nothing wrong with his offense. I mean, he wasn't lighting it up, but his playmaking, everything on the power play, he's fantastic. It's the other stuff that wasn't working, that he wasn't doing well or improving on. And it got to the point where Merkley just wanted to trade ahead. Just to clarify, it had nothing to do with anything that was, all the rumors from before and all the stuff that happened on his temperament and everything else. That had nothing to do with that. So I wish him all the best. I mean, I don't like to see people fail. I don't want him to I don't want the Sharks to win this trade where he just never plays. It's not what I'm looking forward to. And by the way, to correction, Matt Nieto was claimed by waivers the first time. He was not traded to Colorado. Yeah, I'm excited to see, new start for Martin Kaut. I'm going to say Kaut because it looks right. And Jacob McDonald. You got a little funny story on Jacob, right?
So I briefly saw this little article about him finding out about the trade. And he was at the Megna's house. And not Jacob Megna, but Jason Megna. Jason Megna, who is a Ducks player and is the brother of Sharks Jacob Megna. I guess they played together in Colorado until Jason got claimed off of waivers, and he was over at his house because they were traveling, I guess. So there you go. Just a really weird thing going on there. But yeah, it was just kind of cool that he was at the Megna's house and it's his brothers. All right, cool. So anyway, that's how we found out. But Jacob McDonald, 2-time AHL All-Star, and he's a 2-way defenseman who can play on the wing. I doubt he'll end up playing much on the wing with the Sharks or anything. I doubt he'll see much action. I know he played defense just the other day, actually. Aaron, did you see his game? Did you think anything special about it?
I did not see it.
You did not. No. That's okay.
No. Sorry.
Regardless, so I think we've got a couple of good AHL players out of this trade here. Is that what Mike Grier is trying to do? It sounds like what Mike Grier is trying to do is make the CUDA better, give them a shot at making playoffs, give Eklund and Bordelot some playoff experience at the AHL level. I mean, we saw Weatherby get traded out for, I'm going to screw this name up, but Chris Cuolo, maybe, I don't know. We saw that trade happen. That one didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense one way or the other, but it seems like he's fitting in okay now. Does the team look maybe any better on paper having Martin Kaut on the team as opposed to Ryan Merkley? Now, they play different positions, and Merkley maybe isn't working out for the NHL level, but I mean, he is kind of a puck moving defenseman. He should be sparking offense. Are they a better team with this trade?
I want to say yes, but we won't know until we see results, really. But to answer your question earlier, yes, I think he is revamping, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. He's revamping both the AHL and NHL rosters slowly, getting his guys in there. The prospects that were currently there when Mike Grier came in are no longer in the same pecking order that they were, if you will. So that's probably part of the reason why Merkley was seen as expendable in a way. Kind of, I don't know. They don't view him like, sure, they spent a first round pick on him, right? Well, Grier didn't spend a first round pick on him. So it's not as bad when you trade somebody when you didn't pick them in the first place. You're just kind of starting from fresh. I think the Barracuda are going to be better. I think he's trying to make them better, more. At least they have some skill with Eklund and Bordelot there. And then they're going to have a lot of hardworking guys and hard-nosed guys that are going to help kind of tighten up the defense, team defense, if you will. They're going to be harder to play against, and we'll probably see a lot more fights during the games, which are always exciting. And I'm hoping that they get better, and I think they want the Barracuda to go into a deep playoff run for the Calder Cup. And if they can win a Calder Cup, man, that is huge confidence for a lot of those guys that would eventually be playing on the Sharks.
Absolutely. So, I kind of share that sentiment with the whole Grier's guys thing. So, he's kind of going out with the folks that were the Doug Wilson era, right? And he's getting his own type of player in there. With a lot of the guys that we see coming in, like a Mikey Asimont, right? He's exactly what Grier wants out of these guys. He wants this hardworking type of players. And with guys going out from the Barracuda, like Weatherby and Merkley, for instance, not that they're inexperienced, but I think Jacob's playing in the NHL right now, but who knows? Maybe he gets bumped down. Again, 2-time AHL All-Star as a defenseman. If you're going to lose Ryan Merkley and you want to make your defense better, what better way to do that than with a guy like Jacob McDonald? So I would be interested to see how long he lasts in the NHL. Maybe they need him in the NHL just because of numbers, right? They just need bodies. Who knows? But that would be definitely a way to kind of shore that up. And then, Weatherby had some experience, don't get me wrong, but it seems like Chris Cuolo is kind of like an older, more veteran type player. And he had an impact. The very first game he played, he had impact them. So I think that's what he's trying to do. Like you said, just trying to make them better, trying to give them that boost, and hopefully it works out for them. I'd love to see that happen because, again, we're sharing those season tickets, and again, brand new arena. It'd be awesome for them to hang a banner their first year, something, anything type of banner, yeah, like that, and put that up there. There you go. So anyway, I know it's a Barracuda talk, but it's just kind of interesting. Those are some of the trades they were talking about. Aaron, there were some trade talks, some questions that were in the chat. I don't think we addressed all of them. Did you want to go back? I know there was a question about Timo. We kind of talked about it last week, I know, but if there's anything in there that maybe you wanted to address, I think now might be the time.
Oh, we kind of did. Noah Claxton asked earlier, how do you guys think about the Horvat trade impacts the Timo trade? Honestly, I think it helps a lot. The fact Horvat pulled a solid young player, top prospect in a first. I think Timo gets more since he's an RFA. Pretty much what I said earlier, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. I don't know. I got to get through these. Gregor's going to be traded. Do you think Gregor would be traded?
Do I think he will get traded?
I think he could, just based on his salary and his possible, speed.
I think he should. I think he should get traded. I think it's good for the Sharks to get assets back, especially, for a guy that's, I mean, he's not exactly killing it out there. Again, he's been healthy scratched quite a few times. Same thing with LeBanc. I think these are guys that are expendable. You can let them go to other clubs. If another club thinks that they need, a fourth line speedster who's going to make it difficult for other teams, on the forecheck and whatnot, and they're looking for somebody who can, bounce one off the glass now and then, I think Noah Gregor's your guy, right? So
terrible.
Sorry, I had to. But regardless, I think any of those guys, especially if they're not Greer's guys, like we had said earlier, I think they're more than expendable, and you get an asset back in return, so he gets the opportunity to build the team that he wants to build. So yes, I think Noah Gregor should get the opportunity to move on to a different team and do something else, do something somewhere else, I should say. So,
did you see Noah Gregor's ice time?
No. What excuse are you about to throw me this time? Go ahead.
We just stunk.
In the Pittsburgh game, when was the first game Nieto was gone? Was it Carolina? He wasn't in Carolina.
Yeah.
13 minutes in Carolina. The Detroit game, he was at 10:57.
Okay.
Then he goes up to 13 minutes.
Right.
Pittsburgh, almost 16 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to be taking that Nieto spot.
He kind of has to, because Nieto's not there. He's
Right.
not beating Nieto out. Nieto's gone. They need somebody to play those minutes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think he's the next Nieto that's going to be the penalty killer, third line guy that could chip in some goals every year.
I think if he continues to get 16 minutes a night, that's just a few more minutes to showcase what he can do to another team. And again, I hope he gets traded. That'd be great for him. Don't you think? Don't be so selfish, Aaron.
I hate you.
Upcoming games, there are none because of the All-Star break. However, we'll be doing a different type of show next week. Something I don't know if we want to tell them about just yet, Aaron, but I'm going to go over these games for not the coming week, but the week after, because by the time we get back, these are the games we'll have been talking about. So Tuesday, Tampa Bay Lightning, Thursday, Florida, Sunday, Washington, all of which are away games. And again, this is not next week. This is after next week because of the All-Star break. So, Aaron, do you have any thoughts regarding which one of these are we going to get wrong? Because Tampa Bay, Florida, Washington, we should lose to all of these. We're going to win one of them, right?
Probably.
Okay. And if we lose, it's going to be an OT.
Florida's probably the best bet because they're having a terrible season. For how many All-Stars are on that team, they're having a terrible season. They're just not putting it together.
Kind of like we were supposed to lose to Detroit. Or yeah.
Not like how we were supposed to
win.
Detroit. Yeah. I don't know. I think they'll play well against Tampa and eventually lose because they just have so many weapons. Yeah. Probably the same thing against Washington. Ovechkin's probably just going to score the game winner on a scorcher from The Office. So, man, if I had to pick one, Rochambeau. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
So funny. I was watching some clip of him, and he's literally on the power play. He's literally controller disconnect, just sitting there, standing straight up tall with this. Like he's like they're about to take a face off, but like the centers aren't even set yet. Like he's just standing there, and it's like live play. Passes going all over the place. The defenseman that's supposed to be watching him is like back and forth and everything else. And he's literally just relaxing, just standing straight up. And then all of a sudden, you see him kind of get into this little crouch, and the puck comes over, and he just cranks this thing, and it's goal. Like they know what's coming, and they can't stop it.
Yeah, it's what he does best. It's not like he's not moving around the ice, and you have to chase him around to try and stop him. He's just there. He's there. It's coming.
Like most guys would be like, okay, they back up to make it, get the shooting lane, and then the defender comes a little too far, so they skate back in to make him back up, and then get into the shooting lane. You know what I mean? He just stood there.
I'm excited, man. He could break Gretzky's record for goals. That would be just unreal. That is a record I thought would never be broken. And
I mean, any of Gretzky's records, really, they're so far out there, it's ridiculous. So
the assists one, I don't think would ever be broken. That one is
Noah
really
Claxton
hard.
says we're beating Tampa. We're beating Tampa.
It also depends. A lot of these teams like to throw their backup goalies against the Sharks because they give their real goalies a rest, right?
They're real goalies.
They're starters.
That is so disrespectful to backup goaltenders everywhere.
What?
Oh my god.
They give the real goalies a rest. They're like, here, just go in there, see what you can do. It's the Sharks. You'll be fine because we'll probably win it in the last minute.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they could have the E-bug, and Tampa Bay's just got too many weapons, dude. They're going to control the puck all game long. But Noah Claxton says we're beating them, so let's see what happens. All right, Aaron, should we tell them a little bit about what we're planning to do for next episode?
Let's just say we'll have a recorded episode, and it'll be out late next week, and then we'll be back the following Monday. So we won't be alive next Monday. We won't be doing a live next Monday.
We won't be alive next Monday.
Right.
Oh, I can't lie, it was, a lot last, month.
We will be dead. Okay, anyway. I'm going to go a little bit farther. I'm going to say that we're doing the recorded show, yes, but we will have some special guests that are going to be helping us out with the show. That's what I'll say. So
Fair.
Definitely one to tune in for. It should be, I don't know exactly when we're going to release, but we'll be recording on Tuesday, I think. So sometime after that. So
we're recording on Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Oh, we're recording on Wednesday. It's a good thing because I would have showed up a day early.
We just stunk.
No, I'm punctual. There's a difference.
We just stunk.
Super producer Jason disagrees. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for tonight's show. Aaron, oh wait, Jumbo Ben. No, but no, not Jumbo Ben. I wish. Matt Benning, Noah Claxton. I wish.
Antti Suomela.
No, definitely not. Yeah, we didn't fly him in from Sweden. Anyway, Aaron, any last words here?
Brad Staubitz. There's a throwback. Wow.
That's a throwback. Holy
I love
smokes.
Brad Staubitz, man. That guy could punch. No, thankfully he will not be on the show because he would probably punch us out real quick. Bob Ross.
No, not Bob Ross either. Okay. Any last words, Aaron? No?
No.
You all good?
No.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we know that you have several other options out there, but you chose us. And for that, we appreciate you. If you'd like to support the show beyond just showing up and chatting, which is totally fine, you can do so by using the super chat function. And you can also go to Venmo at the Fin Factor. Sorry, I was trying to read some of the things that were going on down there. No, it's not Martin Jones. You can go to thefinfactor.com, check out all the merchandise that we have there. Again, if you want to support the show, but you want to get something back in return, that is the place to go. So again, thank you for that. Brad Staubitz versus 2-2 fight was crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that one again. I do remember that being pretty hefty.
I was there for that game. I remember
Nice.
being there. And I did not like Jordan Tutu. I thought he's a guy who would like start something and then turtle. So I just didn't like him.
I thought it was always funny that his name is Tutu and his number was 22, so he had two. Wow. He's trying to cut me off there. All right. Anyway, I guess we're ready to go. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
In late next week.
in like 2 weeks or so. Something like that.
Right.
Anyway, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.